Hello.
Hi, Bill.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm caught up on paperwork.
Bleh. Paperwork.
Trying to make friends with the printer.
That's always a dicey undertaking.
All right, you're at 3:01. Just wait a few minutes for your last two folks. Oh, here comes Barb.
Angie, if you can hear me, that thing you just sent, I can't open it on my iMac even.
I sent it in a regular email,
Oh, okay, I see that.
just a regular email.
Great, that I can see. I didn't know if it was this thing on the thing. Good.
No, I did that specifically for you, Miss Christine.
Wait, is this just, these are the only ones that aren't correct?
Yes,
Okay,
as far as meter numbers, yes, or the meter sizes, I'm sorry. Yeah, and I apologize, I was sent that sooner, but those were just dropped off to me 40 minutes ago,
okay,
those work orders.
okay. I had fun looking over your stuff, Angie.
Oh, it's a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you had fun.
I went through everyone and marked up them all with everything that I know about it, and it was really handy because I had this map book from the Park Service that made
Oh,
it super easy to find everything.
good.
Well, I'm going to need to know how to read and interpret the customer transaction summaries for each of those 29
Mhm.
accounts. I mean, before I can,
I'll help you.
because the start dates for each of the CPSs are different, and they all end on May 3rd. I really need interpretation. So if y'all are going to jump in and start talking without discussing how we're going to approach this and what we're trying to find out.
I'll be able to help you through that, Barb. Just y'all let me know what you want me to do. You lead.
Scott figures it out. Don't have it yet. You're more than welcome. Whatever you doing? Got some house and watch the house. Okay. He's gonna make water.
Awesome. Good. Let's make water. I've lost my data in the whole process.
What happened? For what?
For a report that I was going to that I had just jotted stuff down. Thank God I had a little bit. But it wasn't that I needed much anyway. Oh, am I talking out loud?
Oh.
Are we on?
I believe we're trying to wait for Laurel.
Oh, okay, good, because I had to make a few adjustments here.
So on the, looking at these meter actual versus the size that we have in Kuzi, if we, the larger the meter, the more we charge, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we're undercharging for at least one.
Which item do we have to look at to see that, to see what size the meters are?
It's a separate email.
I just sent it just
Oh,
like
Yeah.
15 minutes ago, right before the meeting. I'm sorry.
oh,
Okay,
I just got all those work orders in and had time to compile. that information.
Yeah, we just gave them to her.
We still need,
We still have,
Chris,
no, you're not.
do you see my latest email, Barb?
yeah, I just see it now.
Okay. Yeah, that was the one that Bill's referring to.
Yeah. Well, that's, and to the, for the rest of them, we understand the meters match the size in the system.
Correct.
we currently have 5 more out right now. We got 5 more left. The Park Service today with the guys said that they had meetings to go to and that they will continue this tomorrow.
Okay.
But so we have still 5 more to go.
So am I correct in assuming that what Angie just sent us right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's 5 yet to go, that all the others are matching?
Yes, correct.
So that's 11 that, well, 6 we know that aren't matching. 5 yet to be determined. And all the,
Correct.
Okay.
and that's out of 29 out of 29,
31, I believe.
31.
I had quite a few comments on the ones that you do have about them.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt a minute. I'm trying to get Laurel into the meeting. I'm having a technical problem here, so I just can't see her at all in the panel. Let me close.
And I'm sorry, I was unaware there were still work orders out, or I wouldn't have sent that email. I thought I had them all.
Well, it's a good start.
No, we had, yeah, I thought you, everything, guys, everything just happened on time. We've been working around the clock trying to get this stuff to you guys. And they pushed the Park Service as far as they were going to go today. We've been working on this, and the guys really tried hard for you. And hopefully they will continue to allow us back into the places tomorrow. They're getting a little edgy with us because, we're taking away from their time as far as they're concerned. They told us today that they had enough of us.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt again. Laurel is now in the meeting. Laurel, are you able to hear and everything? I really had trouble pulling you in. I just want to make sure everything's okay. You're on mute.
Does not work.
Yes, I can hear. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You're ready to go.
I want to print this.
All right.
Where?
Do I need to read this language, Deb?
Someone does.
All right. Until further notice, the Corporation of Harper's Ferry's governing and deliberative bodies will hold meetings and/or hearings virtually via Zoom webinar, which provides for public participation during a public comment period when applicable and when posted on the agenda. Alternatively, the public may watch meetings by YouTube video live stream or listen by telephone. These options comply with the Open Governmental Meetings Act. The Zoom webinar link to participate in town meetings and/or hearings can be found on the meetings and events calendar at https://wv.harpersferry.us/calendar.html. Visit https://www.harpersferry.uv.us/virtual-meeting-information.pdf for further information on how to view and participate in the town's virtual meetings or hearings. Call the meeting to order at 3:13.
All right, turn it again.
Chris, could you mute your microphone, please?
I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
We have a hard stop at 5:15 today, so we got to get rolling. We've already been kind of batting around this NPS meter issue, and from what I understand, Angie has updated us by email with the first set of meters. There are 5 more to go for this audit of meter size to be complete. And then we also have voluminous data from Angie regarding meter reads and billings for the NPS concerns that we're addressing here. Do we have, does anybody have any questions for Chris or Angie regarding the meter sizes? I know, Christy, you said you had something. You have to unmute.
Well, I don't have anything about those meter sizes. I didn't.
Oh,
Not
okay. I have one overarching question with that. Who do the meters belong to on National Park Service property?
I believe that was I thought it was the Park Service. The only reason I say that is because they're also, I know that Larry and them are responsible for when you go over to the Storer College, they have to ask permission from the Storer College people to get in, to get into the meters if they can't, if they go with the park rangers, is who has the keys. Larry and from the Park Service doesn't have the keys to.
But they're in the buildings, are they ours or theirs?
The meter itself, the meter itself is ours. We own flat out all meters.
Okay, but that was the question. I mean, I know we have to get access to the meters sometimes from
Yes.
them, but the physical meters are ours. And I mean, if I were to dig up and change my meter, I would be breaking the law.
Yes, you would be. You absolutely would be.
So does that apply to the meters that are on Park Service property?
It does.
Okay.
We're supposed to have full access to all meters.
Well, being provided full access and who is legally the owner of the meter are two separate questions. And the reason I ask that is as we sort of parse out, you know, what's been billed appropriately, what hasn't been billed appropriately, how we handle this going forward. If these meters were switched by the Park Service inappropriately, you know, since the sizes don't line up,
Exactly.
you know, if that's what happened rather than us screwing up reporting the size or whatever it is, if the sizes were changed without our involvement, that's something we need to know and will be part of that larger discussion with the Park Service going forward. So I just wanted to, that was a point.
Yeah, well, we know adapters have been put in on several of them, that some of the pictures that I saw. So yes, they were at 1.1 size, and now they are a different size on some of these. So there's definite evidence of all that.
Good question. Those are good questions, Bill. And Chris, is it likely that the meters could have been changed by the Park Service or the hookups?
Most definitely that these meters were done by the Park Service. Park Service was involved in a lot of its own. But first off, and on Storer College, they actually own. That's a private line for where the Storer College, where the meters in question are, like 67 Matter Training Center. They actually own the line itself that goes into the Park Service. We own and maintain the fire hydrants, but they actually put those in themselves, and we own the meters. But they actually own the line that literally goes in there. Our valve literally stops on Fillmore Street.
Yeah.
Right.
In the walkway there.
But
So.
You can probably tell, Barbara, I'm looking at, you know, when we have this dialogue with the Park Service on how to make this not happen anymore, and so that we can, you know, get all our books square with them and chart a course forward with them to make it easier for us to provide the services that we provide. You know, these are all things we're going to have to address and come up with a way to, you know, communicate any changes they want to make to their meters, or, you know, get all this square and establish a process so that we know what's going on and they know what's going on, and we don't find ourselves in this predicament anymore. You know, and I think it sounds like both parties have participated in the confusion. So, you know, we got to get to the bottom of it. And,
Yeah. Can do you mind if I it's short and it's not well written, but I had something, if it's okay to say it, is that okay?
well, I mean,
It's
You-
germane. Is it germane to our discussion?
Yes, yes, it is. And again, I apologize. I had all this written out, and in all the chaos, we had a new printer just put in, and somehow or another, I lost my paper. So this is just the rough draft. But the answer to your question is no, Bill. I don't believe that we have that many other surprises other than the NPS seems to be our biggest problem there. You know, again, I know that we're away from the radio read, but the radio read will bring out some unsuspected things, I'm sure, just like at Berkeley County. Right now, we have one in question that's an abandoned service, is what we called it at Berkeley County Water, and that's a service that doesn't literally have a home. There's no account for it, there's no record of it. I was in charge, that was one of the responsibilities that I had as at Berkeley County Water. So they put me in charge of abandoned services, which I did the investigation and went to the tax maps and found out who these people were, along with many other responsibilities. But the data, even with the checking and analysis systems in place, which we have several of them, some of this slipped through the cracks. Unfortunately, the Cousy system had multiple people as water clerks that were not familiar with the system as Angie is now. And there were there was 4 of them, or I think it was 4, if I recall. I was there trying to clean it up. I was asked to clean it up when I came here with the limited knowledge I had to work with. Unfortunately, at the time, no one really knew what to do with the data. So I can provide this information, but I had no one to give it to. Even if the reports were accurate with regards to meter sizes, one second. Even if the reports were accurate, they were showing 2 different sizes at 2 different places and 2 different reports. For example, I recall having Cousy give me 2 different types of reports, and they're having two different sizes of the same account. I know I just said that, but today Angie has now, through hard work, became very familiar with Cousy, and she has, man. This is the best we've had as far as knowledge of Cousy. She told me today she's learning every day more and more about how to operate Cousy, and the better we get at it, the more accurate in performance, our ability to provide good quality data will be. We are highly qualified at doing our jobs. This is what we get paid to do. I have been as transparent as I can with you guys. I've shown the hardest things that we need to tackle. I feel that the one thing that I did when I first came here was I knew Brandon liked to keep it short and sweet, and Josh used to hide stuff, and I just wanted to lay it all out on the line because I knew that there was good people in here that were going to find solutions for me as well. And I knew I was going to be hardball. I knew it, Bill.
Okay. Can I?
Go ahead.
Can I chime in? I've been sitting here patiently waiting.
Sure.
I've also been patiently waiting,
So
so
I've been patiently waiting longer than you.
Okay. We have a little thing you can put your hand up, a little hand icon, so that we can see when you're there. We go. That's helpful. All right, Christy, then Laurel.
All right. I looked at all these pieces of paper that were clamped together. I was lucky enough to not be able to read the whatever you call it, the document that was sent to me. So I got a paper copy, which is way easier on my eyes. And I had lots of questions on these because on some, I know the town. That's one thing I do is I know the town really well. I'm looking at this piece of paper that says 1100 Putnam Street for the ranger station. And 1100 Putnam Street on this say 2 different things. One of them says 0, the other says that they use 700 usage in the last month. These guys are still there. That actually seems low to me because I know that ranger station has multiple people there every day using those bathrooms. So I'm not sure what's going on. That's just one. I'm just going to go all the way through these before.
Is that Grandview School?
Grandview School.
Yes.
Okay, the next one. I assume this is 51 Mather Place, which is not on this list. I assume, is that the one that's privately owned, that the Park Service put in and is privately owned?
It's privately owned, yes. It's
Okay,
privately owned by the
I
United
guess
Trade
right.
Center.
I guessed right. Okay, then the next one, has a Harper's Ferry train station, and I'll say this for any of the ones that had public bathrooms. I have used all those public bathrooms, and I tell you, they have always had leaky stuff, leaky plumbing going on. So, and I know I have complained to the Park Service back when I knew who the maintenance person was. I said, you guys have a real big problem with this toilet leaking in here, or this sink just constant faucet constantly running, and nothing happened because I was down there all the time. So when they say, if they say those are high, I say, let's see what those drippy faucets are doing. Let them get someone out there. The drinking fountain, there's a drinking fountain at Shenandoah and Potomac Courtyard. This is the one that has a huge amount, and I have no idea what else is down there, but that is where the old drinking
It
fountain
goes
is.
to 5 buildings.
Excuse me. I mean,
wait. I'm not
I
done yet.
think this is quite valuable, this list you're giving, but I don't see that it's germane here. It seems like you should provide this list to Chris Steyer.
Well,
And
actually, what I would like to do, please don't interrupt. What I would like to do is find out, does the water service or does the Park Service have a list of the facilities that are in all these facilities that they have? When you work at other places, the water service knows how many toilets, how many sinks, how many toilets are in every building, and they know this because they require a building permit for everything. But they know how much it is. And do the Park Service know how many faucets, how many toilets are in each one of these places? Do they have any record of the maintenance of them?
The maintenance guy, Fred, retired, and now we have a new guy. So that a lot of this that has happened is unfortunately, yeah.
Right, I know this. Okay, and I just wanted to point that out. And let's moving right along. I found every building on here, Laurel. I know where all these buildings are, but there was one where it talks about a ranger station on Shenandoah. And there's no street address. I have no idea what they're talking about.
What is the account number for that one?
It says 9825.
9825?
Right. It says ranger
Got
station.
it, Ranger
Zero.
Station, got it, okay.
It says 0 on this sheet. It says 0 on this sheet. It says $596.21 on this piece of paper.
Yeah.
So, now let me just go on down, because there's another one, 110 Shenandoah Street. There's no building there. There's no building there. And it has a meter. There's no building there.
Where's this?
110 Shenandoah Street. There's no
What-
building there. Well, there's a building at a different location. on
Oh,
Shenandoah Street.
110 Shenandoah Street is actually in the little courtyard thing right there on the corner of Potomac and Shenandoah. Is that where you're referring to?
No,
Right there at the stop sign?
no, those addresses don't, that address would be when you first turn into Shenandoah off of 340.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
can
on
tell you
Fourth.
on all this, we have, me and Brandon and now the guys have physically seen every meter there is. They do have homes. These all do have homes.
No, I mean,
Except for
there's
Mercy
a
Farm.
building. It's not that address though.
Yeah, except for Murphy's Farm.
Then there's one at 114 Public Way. There is nothing at 114 Public Way.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
What is
There's three places at Public Way. It's a building at the top of Church Street and Public Way. That building that has 3 meters in it. That's going to be converted to 1. We're in the process of doing that.
And what does it serve?
It serves,
The
there's
apartment buildings.
there's apartment building in there. There's apartment buildings and there's also
So wait a second,
it also has an office that the Park Service
talking about-
utilizes.
Well, what about first Marmion House, second Marmion House down on 133 Public Way?
133 Public
There's-
Way are 3, yeah,
It's 3 meters in one building.
there's 3 meters in one building.
Okay, wait a second.
What account number are those?
Okay, 114 is 10200. 125, which is a house. I can find a house there. I mean,
But it's not. It's all in the same building. There's 3 meters, okay? There's 3 meters. It all is being converted to 1. They realized the problem a long time ago. They set aside to put a meter in and it never got converted over.
so the other
So we're
two
getting
meters
it-
two meters aren't being used? That not a
Yes.
minimum?
Correct.
Okay, good. Thank you. That answers that one. Now, moving right along. All the ones on Filmer look good. When I came to the Harper's Ferry, the Cook Hall, is that occupied? Does it have
Yes,
bathroom?
yes, it is. That's actually the Appalachian Trail Center's actually headquarters for the police, is where
Okay,
they
right.
coordinate everything.
Okay, and 67 Mather Place, the Interpretive Center?
Yes,
I
that's
haven't seen
very
very many
well.
people going in there. Is that meter for something other than, because that's $13,449. That's kind of.
No, that's the meter
They have a
for
leak,
that
I
building.
believe.
And they could have a leak in there.
Okay, so,
Question,
hold
I have
on.
a question. It has right here on this page, it says prior reading, current reading, and it's the same number. So how does it get the usage? I mean, these other ones, when it had prior and current, it had two different numbers,
I have no idea what.
all right?
what-
That's
I don't know.
me. I
Yeah.
can answer that
You
question.
can explain that.
I have no idea what paper you're looking at.
I'm looking, okay, I was lucky enough to get these in hard copy form. This is the document that Angie sent out yesterday, was it? Yeah, yesterday. It really is, all I'm saying is that to me, there's all kinds of things on here, not just the fact that we got meters that are different sizes. Now, I'm looking at the Bird Brady house. When I walk my neighbor's dog, I'm going around here all the time. There are a ton of people at this place and it shows zero usage. Is that a broken meter?
No, but no, that meter should be utilized.
It
It's-
shows
it's-
zero
it's-
usage. It shows zero usage. And I
Yeah,
have people in there all the time when we go past.
What address is
That's
that?
that's a birdhouse. That's the one all the way at the
In the
end.
back?
Yeah.
Right,
Wait.
Okay, the Bird Brady house had been overread and it hasn't called up yet, I believe.
Yeah, that's exactly.
What?
The birdhouse, it had been overread and now it hasn't caught up yet.
I
That-
believe.
I
Okay, all
believe.
right, that answers that.
Okay.
Now, the shuttle bus garage. That
Yes,
has zero usage.
yes, that meter's never really
I
read.
just heard it.
Yeah, and that meter's never really, it's always been low. It is very difficult to read.
But that's the one, those guys wash those buses. They
Oh,
wash those buses.
I'm telling you, it's when we used to read it, it was always low. So that used to tell me that they're not washing those buses as much as they should be. But it used to read really low when it used to get read. It's very difficult. It's down at the bottom. It's an ARB gun.
Okay.
I'm hopefully I'm gonna have, but I hate to waste this money because I don't,
Right.
I'm gonna have it changed with radio read, but I can have an ARB pad put in there instead, for now.
No, I think what I'm driving at is we got a lot where we're not getting the money we should be getting. So our problem
But
is
we-
there's,
Yeah.
Okay,
And
now the last one is the public bathrooms on Shoreline Drive. This is up at the top.
and this is a
Is that
perfect
what-
reason why we need
Yes.
radio read. This is a perfect reason.
Oh, I agree.
You know?
But it's like, I know from using these bathrooms. I mean, every time back when before the pandemic, every time I went into one of those things, they were leaking. So I just don't have,
So when was the last
You know.
time you saw someone in there?
When was the last time you saw somebody in there? Because
in
it-
which one?
The public bathrooms on
Yeah.
Shoreline Drive.
I haven't seen anybody coming in and out of
There's
the
not been
bathroom. 'cause I don't
anybody
go down.
in
there
there.
hasn't been anybody in there. That's why.
Yeah.
We used to use 30,000 gallons. If you want to know what they used to use 30,000 gallons during the summer months. That's what they used to use.
Yeah.
And now after COVID, I don't
They've
know.
been closed.
Well,
You know,
okay.
I don't-
If you missed my point, what I said was, I know these had faucets and toilets that leaked before. Did they fix them all before the pandemic started?
Probably not.
So I guess,
Probably not.
Christie, all this is good information, but are you offering a counterpoint, this as a counterpoint to the meter size concern, or?
I want to make sure when you guys, whoever's going to have this discussion in action with the Park Service, that these things come up, that one of the water commissioners uses these facilities all the time in the past, before the pandemic, and constantly would find leaky faucets and leaky toilets.
We're not,
I've reported them back when we had Cam there.
okay, noted. I think the purpose of this exercise is what we're trying to do here is get a full, clear picture of all of the NPS accounts. And we're trying to remove things that obscure that, like meter sizes that don't match up in our system and things like that. I'm not offering that
I
we
agree.
owe them or they owe us. There's a lot to sort out here. And, some of it is meters that we've had a hard time getting access to, meters that we haven't read. We have meters that we haven't been able to get to. I mean, all of those things are factors in our analysis, but I don't think we need to try and do the meter by meter audit right now. I think your concerns are noted, Christy, and I think when we sit down with the Park Service, we'll definitely, however that takes shape, we'll be going over all of this so that we can get a good baseline to move forward from with them and get all of these accounts caught up. And, I'm not suggesting that, we owe them because we had some wrong size meters. My concern was that we really didn't know. We didn't have a good picture of what's been going on down there.
Right.
And that's what we.
I agree.
I'd really like to have an idea of how many of these facilities have plumbing, have toilets and sinks. We know the ones that are residences do. We know the ones where you have people all day long do.
Well, we can request that information from the Park Service.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the manpower to do a building by building audit of their fixtures.
I
But-
think we should request it from the maintenance person. I think we should request it.
And I think that's a reasonable request.
What does that do? Okay, it's good data. It's good data to know.
Because
But
if it's leaking, then we know if they have plumbing in there that tends to leak, toilets and sinks, then we know that when they have a high read, we need to ask them. We probably are going to have to do what we do with the regular residents and go out there and check to see if our meter's screwed up.
Well, I think if we see a high read, regardless of whether they've told us how many toilets and faucets they have, we still know it's a high read and is worth investigating.
Well, the more information we have, the better we can analyze
Right.
Exactly.
what we get when we
Right.
read the meter.
I agree.
I don't disagree with that. I don't want to spend our time chasing that down. I would like
I
to.
don't either.
So,
Thank you on that.
I
Yeah.
understand why we'd want to know. Laurel,
Right.
you had your hand up for a while. You got on mute.
Yeah, I was looking at the very last email that Angie sent.
Yep.
I'm about to find out what I can't.
And there are five more meters that will be included on that list, Laurel. So it's not a complete list yet.
Well, there may be 5 more. There are 5 more to do, but they may or may not have mismatches.
Sure.
Laurel, I think you're still muted. I think you remuted or something.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris, do you have that list in front of you? The one-
Unfortunately, I've just got a brand new printer and it is now not printing.
This
But
this
I
is the
can-
very, I mean, you don't have to, but this is the very last email sent.
Yes, I
Okay,
can look
so
it
from
up.
Angie. So
I'll-
anyway, I
I'll-
just wanted to ask you, so looking at the list that she sent,
I got it.
Lockwood House was being charged at 5/8, but yeah, Lockwood House is not used too much.
No.
The visitor center, which visitor center is that?
I would need a better address than the one she
It
got.
looks like
She only had 30 seconds to put this.
Account number 041250.
So
I mean,
I,
Okay, well, so Angie, if you could add to that list, like identify where that visitor center is, because they have more than one. And then it says actual size 1.5 or 2 inches. So which one is it? Were they unable to determine the size of it?
The meter itself could be used for both.
excuse me?
The meter itself is set 1.5 or 2 inches on the meter. It can be used in a 1.5 setting or a 2.5 or a 2 setting, 2 inch
So
setting.
that's not.
Oh,
really-
okay. Oh, then, oh, it could be used for both. So,
So that's not really a mismatch.
well, no, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's
appropriate meter
good.
for
It's a
2 inch.
it's a perfect one. So the visitor center is good.
Okay, wait a second. Wait a minute, I didn't understand it that way. They're being charged as if it's a
It's-
2-inch meter, right?
It's a meter that can work either in a 1.5 inch setting or a 2 inch setting. In this place, it's performing correctly for a 2 inch setting.
So it's,
But they're being charged for a 2-inch. So
Yeah.
if they're-
Yes,
I think the 1.5 and 2 are the same.
yes.
in
We're,
price.
we're actually okay on this one.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, so is this, but you're telling me that they can set it for 2 different meters.
It
Is that
can
right?
function, yeah, it can function differently.
Well, wouldn't the way it functions matter with how much water they use? Would a reading, if you get one, if they set it on 1.5 and you get a reading, it means so many gallons. But if they set it on 2 inches and you get a reading, does that
It's not
mean
a
a different
setting.
number of gallons?
It's not a
It's
setting.
not a setting. It reads within the realm of both of those.
Yeah, you're gonna get the same, same reading. Also it would do is change the volume of water that's going through the meter. So you could either have the capability of having an inch and a half or 2 inch. So that's all that would change. The billing for the
It still
2 inch
reads-
meter is perfect
It
on that.
still reads the
Yeah.
gallons accurately at either 1.5 or 2 inches.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, but do we
Sorry to
actually
confuse-
have,
sorry to confuse you with that
I
one.
should have just put 2 inch on.
He should have put 2 inch on there.
do we actually have a 1.5-inch size that we have a different charge for?
Yes, but on this occasion, he should have put 2 inch on there, just
Okay,
that was confusing on our end. Sorry about that.
okay, and then the Nash Farm, now they definitely have water out there, right?
Yeah, we do not know. We do not know. This is the situation that's been going on since I've been here. We have had, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Today, Sean came up with the best solution. We're gonna dig it up from the well, he did today. We're gonna dig it up from where it comes into the house and trace this line to see where it goes. But we cannot find the meter. But so
So
I
you,
know
s-
it has
you know
one
where-
because it was a functioning house before they passed away and willed it over to the Park Service. So there's definitely a meter there somewhere.
Yeah, there's got to be a meter there.
could it be
yeah,
inside the,
it's just
could it be
unfortunately.
inside the house?
We have spent way too much time on it. Sean was there the other day for 4 or 5 hours. I think Angie was, or heard about it too. And I know that Spanos has looked for this countless times.
No,
I
went
have,
once. And
Oh,
I do exploratory data.
oh, well, okay.
I'm not wasting time.
Yeah, anyway, I've looked countless times.
And we don't have a schematic of our water distribution system.
Yes. If you want to call it that, but we do. We do have the pipes there. It kind of is where everything kind of runs in together. It's at the end of a dead end or at the end of a dead end line, so to speak. It used to exist to feed. It was actually put in there to feed Nash Farm and to feed at the time a house that's directly across from Nash Farm. And now a 6-inch main was put in there by the Park Service in its place. But there was actually a 1-inch line that came down that was attached to our high service line. And this is getting technical, but yes, let me just put it this way. There's definitely water there. And you know what? We're going to find it.
Okay.
We're just going to find it. Let me just put it at that.
Okay, and then finally, the Murphy Farm, you found a meter, but it's not in the system.
This meter, I call this an abandoned service. Anytime that you have a situation, and it's not necessarily abandoned service, but it is, as far as we're concerned, there is no record of this. I don't know how it even got deleted out of the system. I know at one point in time we were reading it. It was in our books, our handwritten books. Now, as far as was it actually, I don't know if it was
No,
actually
really,
in the
Chris,
books or
I'm
not.
really don't want you, that's okay. You don't have, I wasn't really asking about that aspect of it. I was really wondering, is there another meter on, you found one meter on Murphy Farm, so there's no other meter on Murphy Farm?
No, it's an oversized meter. It's a 2-inch meter that basically goes to a frost-free hydrant, from my understanding, from Murphy's Farm. But we're going to find out exactly through Larry if we can pull this meter and be done with it. And
Or else
and
start
close this
charging
out.
for it?
Are we charging for it now or no?
No, we're not. No, we're not charging any. No, yeah, there's no account for it, so we can't. Charge.
Is it on the Excel list that Angie sent us? Is that 107
It's-
Murphy Road?
That's the one she just sent. The very last.
Yeah, I know that, but in cross-referencing to her master
No,
account,
it's not, because it's not on a.
not on the master account?
I don't, because there's no account
It's not
for
in the
it.
system at all.
What's
There's
the one
no
that's
account
Murphy-
for it.
Is
What's the
there,
107 Murphy Road? What's that one?
The Park Service building across from that meter.
The part.
What's
They
Yeah.
have a building there next to Murphy Farm.
It's what?
Oh, he's referring to there's a Park Service house that actually where they actually rent it out. Or they have people come in and stay, from my understanding, when they have whatever visitors or whatever.
okay, thank you. That's all the questions I had.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else have a question or? I don't think we're at a point where there's any appropriate action to take. We need to get the rest of this analysis done. So we know where we stand, and then we have to, I've briefly gone over the documents that Angie sent out, but I haven't had time to.
There's so much data. I agree.
A lot. And, we have to figure out, what the totals are and how these meter sizes impact our analysis, and then come up with something that we can sit down with the Park Service and discuss. We can't hold their bill forever, but we do need to know where everything stands.
Yeah. Quick solution for just billing purposes. I would like to just add this. If when she goes to bill this time, when she comes across a meter that is of lower value, so if she comes across a 2-inch meter and it's now a 1-inch meter, can we have permission to go ahead and bill at the lower rate to at least start the ball rolling, or should we just continue to bill where we're at now?
No. If we know for certain that a meter is a 1-inch meter and we've historically billed it as a 2-inch meter, we need to bill for the meter that's actually in the ground.
Thank you. That's what we were
I think
discussing.
that should begin as soon as we find those things out.
Yeah, as we discover them, we should fix those.
So
Now,
I
and
wanted
what we
to
do
just,
looking back is a totally different analysis.
Okay.
I
Okay.
want to, I want to suggest that we make all the corrections we can, and then we probably there's no reason to delay last month's bill. We're still in the process of discovery. We should make the corrections as we know them. And I personally don't have a reason to hold back that bill. There still could be corrections of it in the future. But we would send the bill that is the best that we know at the time, and they should know that we are still undergoing research on the meters, the locations and the sizes of them, and that we would let them know about our further research.
This is awesome.
Now, we're focusing solely on the meters situation. Christie brought up the problem of leakage that would be on their side of the meter. So in that case, would they be eligible to request a,
Leak adjustment only if they had repairs that constituted underground or wasn't, leaky toilets do not qualify.
yeah, right.
But if they have a leak that qualifies that they have a receipt from a plumber for, then yes, that would.
That's a good, that's a valid point. Okay.
Well, no, I misspoke, and Chris caught me right on that. If they had leaky faucets, that's not our problem, that's their problem.
Correct. Christie.
Yeah, God, I forgot what I was gonna say and all that. Shoot, what was the last thing that, Laurel, what was the last thing that you said?
I was saying that I think that we should correct what we know and go ahead and send the bills out.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I will add that I am thrilled that we finally got their attention. And I think having this
Right?
ridiculously high bill kind of helped to get them off the ball and realize we need to correct some things.
Right?
Well, and it's entirely possible that there may be some adjustments to these amounts going forward, based on things that we find. But when we wrote the letter, part of the point of the letter was to sort of, suggest that our deeper scrutiny of their charges was not necessarily going to make them go down. So Angie, are they gonna lose their minds when they get this bill?
They sure are.
What is the bottom line bill? Is that the one on the master account for May that you sent us, the
Yes,
31,000 plus, almost 32?
yes.
What's a normal bill?
A year ago, it was 4,000.
So, but that's not usage. That's not usage for the month of May,
Yeah, the month of May a year ago.
right? But their current May bill is not reflective of only May usage.
Oh, it's cumulative.
No, it's a cumulative.
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 Right. So, now if you look at the April bill, it was what, 5, considerably less than that. But and they may have some questions. But we can't hold that bill forever, and we can send it to them with the letting them know that this is impacted by COVID and everything else, and we're happy to discuss with them any amounts they have concerns about, and they're gonna have concerns, but as long as we can rely on the meters, this is what the meters say, then we can give them the same, we can read them the leak script.
Right?
And just be open to working with them. And Angie, we can talk further if you want about how we might want to handle that. If we need to send a letter with that bill or something that would help them not shoot you.
Right?
I'm happy to.
Hunt me down.
I'm happy to explore that with you.
Yes, thank you. I
wanna-
definitely believe that a letter is going to be required with this bill.
Yeah. I
Okay.
want to make a suggestion that also, Angie, if you probably thought about this, is to keep a special folder where you write down which account, if you change a meter size, that you write down, the account number of what that meter was and when it got changed and what was the first billing that got affected by that change.
Yeah.
Because if we have to go back and do any revision of anything, we need to know when the meter size changed, because that changed the charges for that account.
Yeah, all that data is when the work order is issued and it's changed, it's all entered into the computer. So there's a record of all that if the data is put in correctly.
All right, I
No,
have,
no, wait, I'm sorry. Well, wait, it's, on a work order, it's on there, but if we go back and look at just take one account number and we want to look back to see what were the charges all along, we're going to need to know when the meter size changed for the billing date.
Yes, and it will be on there. It will be on that account under meters.
and would we also
Meter
need,
information.
would we also need to take into account the, when the new rates went into effect?
The new rates?
Water rates, if you're going to be charging them accordingly.
Well, we weren't planning on going back any. We were planning on moving forward. Is what we're doing right now, Barbara. Is we're going to just bill. We're going to bill them for. So if Cook Hall has a 2-inch meter, or it's been billed for a 2-inch meter this month, we know it's a 1-inch meter. We are going to bill it for the.
Okay, I got you.
price.
I got
Right. Whether we make historical adjustments for time that we billed for the wrong size meter historically, that's an entirely different analysis.
you. Okay, that relieves me.
And it's something hopefully we.
I
never-
have a question of curiosity, and Bill, you brought it to my attention. In our May account, master account, it's very high. It's like 31,756.
Mhm.
But last month, it was within the normal range of previous billings of
60,000.
5,734. So what caused that huge jump between April 2021 and May of 2021?
Shannon, go straight. It's okay.
Angie, is that what you're talking about? The jump, the reason that you think there's going to be a lot of questions about it?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you're
It's
talking about.
exactly what I'm talking about.
What Barbara just said. Thank you.
That's the one.
So, I mean, I looked back a year ago and it was, a little over 4,000. I look at it a month ago and it was 5,734. So now it's 31,756. And the question is, why? Because Interpretive Design Center had a huge amount.
So Angie and Chris Steyer, can you hazard a why do you think what's happening here? Chris, we can't hear you.
So that this is one of the meters that 67 Matter Training Center is the actual address. It's a compound meter. It's a 3-inch meter. This particular place was a place during COVID. John was instructed not to go into these buildings at the time. This is also a place where it is hard for them to get access into the buildings.
So when was the meter read last, Chris?
The very last time it was read was when I checked it, it was April 2020, right as when COVID hit.
So the reason the bill is high is because we didn't read this meter for a year and we just put all the usage for that meter.
Yes.
The May bill. Is that what's happening?
That's
But
exactly what's
it
happening.
looks like that there was some charge on usage for
The estimated maybe?
April, so I haven't gone back any further, but there is a charge for usage in April.
Because there's a
How
bare
much
minimum
is in there?
charge. There's
Was
a
it
bare-
for the minimum charge?
No, no,
Over?
it's $449.25.
I'm gonna have to turn that over to Angie on that one.
If you look, yeah, I think since that seems to be the worst culprit of this huge bill.
So when you're looking at April, that's not a charge, that is an adjustment. If you're looking on the customer transaction summary, that's the adjustment.
No, I'm looking on the master account.
And what was the reason
the
for the
master account.
adjustment? What was the reason for that adjustment?
That adjustment was, let me see here, hold on. Let me check. Okay. On 427, I said National Park Service shorted April payment of $49.50. Can't find the discrepancy, but okay. On 423, work order 6478 was issued for eyes on meter read. Meter hasn't been read in a year due to inability to access. And then the meter read was 10070 by MS, which MS is Spanos.
Moose.
So that's what that adjustment was for. This was after he actually was able to get eyes on meter reads several weeks after the April bill had already gone out. So the adjustment was due to the work order that was issued that he was finally able to get eyes on for. So that's why that number is so outrageous. And then the adjustment under that was for the $49.50 was the other one I was reading off to you that I have in my notes section.
Well, had it previously in all the previous months, like in 2020, that particular account number 17200, the Interpretive Design Center, had it just been
They had used
charged
anywhere from
for
13,
average?
15,000 per month.
No. It looks to me like it may have been charged a historic average, but because
Hold on, my computer's frozen.
$449 appears there almost every time.
Yeah, that's
Because of the meter size.
that size. That's a meter size. Oh, sorry.
Is that the minimum charge for that size meter?
That is a compound meter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a minimum charge for that compound meter.
So
Mhm.
I guess
3 inch. Yeah.
when we do minimum charge for meters that we're actually not reading, and then we catch up and charge them for all that water in May, like now, have we essentially, do we figure in the amount they've paid in those minimum payments? Because the minimum payment's more than, it's not, that represents, are we overcharging them by charging them minimum all these months and then hitting them with the full volume of actual usage at the end? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, we are. Yes,
And
we
so
are.
Yes.
at some point, should we reduce the amount they owe now by what they've already paid in minimum charges? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I
Okay.
agree. I like that.
The minimum usage is 2,000 gallons on, it doesn't matter what meter you use, it's always 2,000 gallons. Is that
That's
right?
my
Yes.
understanding,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah,
Okay, so we could subtract, if it's 12 months, 24,000 gallons worth.
So when you have a larger meter, I believe, and I'll have to check on that, but I thought it was based on volume of water for bigger meter sizes is where we derived at that figure.
Okay, so it's not 2,000 anymore for a 3-inch.
For a 3-inch, it's much more.
Well, we need to sort that out because, you know, when they ask us or they audit their own billings, they're going to be like, well, but we got charged this amount all of these times. And
had they been paying that when they
Yeah.
were billed, they were paying it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
so
Yeah.
those are the kind of answers that, you know, whoever it is that ends up, you know, having these discussions with the Park Service will need to be able to answer comfortably. So we have to get that sort of.
I think we have that information, Angie. On the bigger meters, I think we have all that.
What is the day that we need to send these bills out then? What should we shoot for?
When I talked to my counterpart that pays the bills that I send out, I asked her if it would be okay because she was out. Oh, let's see here. She is actually out this week. She'll be working from home starting Monday. So I asked her if we could shoot for about this time next week around the 12th. And she said that was fine.
Okay.
She said she would still be able to do what she
So
needed
the
to
12th,
do on
that's-
her end.
That's great. A
All
week.
right. Christy?
Yeah, I had a question. I remember back when Laurel's was misread, and then she brought up the whole thing about the sewer starts at 1,000 instead of 2,000. Does that all get figured out by Angie? About how their bill gets adjusted?
Yes,
Okay.
and that is shown on the master list. You have the water column and then you have the sewer column.
Okay.
So you can see those as well.
Okay, great,
Mhm.
thanks.
You know, so subject to this discussion we just had, I think that we will probably need to make adjustments on at least some of those accounts before you can bill them. Do you agree with that, Angie, and everyone else?
Yeah, I agree.
If that's what the water commission wants me to do, then that's what I will do.
So.
Well, I mean, I think
I agree. I agree.
that would be
So
standard.
now, so now what we're saying is not just send out the bills and make the corrections to the meter from starting here and working out the back payments later. We're talking now about making some other adjustments.
Making the
Yeah.
a reasonable adjustment for the fact that we've been doing minimum billing for months, and now they're getting charged for the entire amount of usage in 1 month.
And
So-
it's
so that's-
minimum billing for months that they were actually having usage. So what we've done is we charge them for whatever the volume is for the minimum billing. And now
Right.
we're also charging them for every actual gallon they've used. Because the reason they were charged minimum is because we weren't reading the meter. For whatever reason, you know, that's our decision, not theirs. And so we charge them the, you know, below minimal usage, you know, the minimum charge each month. And
Yeah.
when you add that with what we've charged them in May, where we caught them up on all their usage and charged them for it, we're actually charging them for more than what they've used.
Right. We're double dipping.
Well, not completely, but yes.
And we have the amount of gallons, I believe, this information, and I should have this right now, it's making me mad, but where it shows the different gallons for the different size meters.
Okay, well, whatever that is, what we need to do.
You know what
is
I'm saying?
back
So
out
an
of
inch
this.
meters, so a 2-inch meter, it's like 20,000 gallons of water minimum bill. That's how you derived it. I believe that's exactly how it's working. So anyway, I'll gather that information. up.
Okay, but at the end of the day, we've overcharged them because we weren't reading them, and now we've caught them up. So we need to back the overcharged amount out in order to, make their billing actually reflect the usage. I don't think we penalize them for our not reading,
Right.
even though sometimes it's them that has made it difficult to read the meter. I don't think it's appropriate for us to bill them for that.
Yeah, as much as I would like to do that because of the impossibilities they put us through.
Well, I think this is an excellent opportunity for us to say, look, because we didn't have access to this, it created this nightmare of a billing scenario for us. And you almost got charged this much more. And we had to fix all that because you didn't want us to access the meter. So that may encourage them in the future to give us better access.
I will say this, it left a
Doubt
bad
it.
taste in my mouth today when my guys come back to me after they've been working very hard on getting these meters for the Park Service and for the leader of the Park Service to tell the guys to let them know that they are done for the day. And I know they got meetings too, but I hope we can work. I hope we can work closer and better in the future.
Well, getting this sorted will be a step in that direction.
Yeah.
So, we can fuss about those things once we get our
I
house
know.
number on the billing.
I understand.
So, anything else on the NPS meters and billing concern? Angie, do you feel like you've got good direction?
Well, I do have one question for clarification. Laurel had said earlier, and then I think Barbara has since said, since we were just talking about, now I've got to redo many of these bills. Do I go ahead this month? And when I say this month, I'm talking the May bills, April usage. Do I go in and go ahead and change those meter sizes for this billing cycle? Or
Yeah.
do I do it for the May usage, June bill? Which one do you want me to do?
Oh, I,
I'll do either one.
I feel like we should, because you haven't sent out the NPS bills, right? Have you sent out all the other bills except for the NPS bills?
Correct.
Okay. So I would like to hear from everyone else on this question, but I don't see why we shouldn't do it right away.
I agree. I agree. with that.
I think since we're
Oh,
gonna have
who
to,
wants to help me do this math?
Yeah, who is,
I
No,
will
seriously.
volunteer. I will
And I
volunteer.
already volunteered you. I knew it in my head before I asked, but
And
we're
and
talking
you can
a
have-
lot
the-
of adjustments.
we
That's
have
right.
the
can
math
have our
person
guys,
that
too.
put her hand up. So Deb,
What?
Pretty sure, and I've just been listening, so, to your conversation, and I'm pretty sure, if I recall, when we had to put into place with Kuzi, the price increase, I seem to recall that the amount of gallons for the various meter sizes, the minimum that's set for those is set in Kuzi. And it seems to me that if you're going to make an adjustment based on minimum charges that have occurred for a particular meter size up until this moment in time when you're catching up, that after you do that, then you would want to start the new meter size. That would be my opinion.
I will agree. Thank you.
Good point.
okay,
Good point.
Because I mean, I've got enough nightmare going on
I'm
as
not-
it is.
Good point.
I apologize, but I missed your point, Deb. Could you say that again, please? I didn't. You're saying that, go ahead.
I feel pretty confident from my recollection when we did the price increase in December, through working with Angie and Kuzi on that particular exercise, that the various meter sizes have their minimums established inside of Kuzi. And therefore, if you are going to discern whether or not you need to give them a credit based on minimums that they have been charged for meter size X, and you've read that meter size X, and you're making a final billing and gallons and dollars evaluation on that meter X, then I would complete the whole exercise of what minimum usage occurred over all those months before you change the meter size on the account.
I agree with
We
that.
certainly would, we have to use the actual amount that they paid before you, I mean, we don't change it to 2-inch and then only reimburse the lower amount. I mean, we have to look at the actual amount they paid,
Absolutely.
which of
yes.
course is for whatever meter size it was listed to be at the time.
Yeah, that's what I said. We needed to determine
Well-
what the new rates went into it.
So are you suggesting, Deb, that it makes sense to go ahead and sort everything that we've calculated to date based on the wrong meter sizes and then adjust starting for the May bill that will arrive in June, have the meter sizes corrected, and then whatever forensic review we do on what we charge for various meters historically, we'll just include, that review will include the May bill, the bill that they received in May. I'm okay with that.
Well, I think we're just, what I suggest is that Angie and I would come up with a formula and we will send it out to all of you. Do you approve of this formula of how we're going to do the meter, the charge here? Because we'll probably look at historical usage too, to compare.
I mean, I don't, that's okay with me. I just, I don't see any problem drawing a bright line, cutting it off and starting with a fresh billing period with the new meter information system. And
That
then
was the
I
only
just-
question I was addressing.
you're going to have to look at for meters that we billed the wrong amount for over time, we're going to have to look at that separately, and whether we look at it for starting with the bill they received in May backward, or whether we started at the bill they received in April backward, isn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think don't worry, I would say, let us talk about it and we will send it out to you for your approval to everyone.
Okay. That
Because
that's comfortable with that.
It's kind of complicated to talk about it in a meeting, but I understand what you're saying. Is that you have to start the new meter at one place or the other.
Right.
And we should
Just because we haven't sent the bill yet, I mean, I understand it gives us the opportunity to fix that, but we're already trying to fix something else on this billing.
Yeah, right.
And having too many moving parts at once makes it easier to make mistakes. When we have this dialogue with the Park Service, I'd like to not have to explain any more mistakes than we've already made. So, I want, whatever makes it easier for them to digest what has happened and how we're handling it.
Okay,
And doesn't break Angie in half.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
right. I think that puts us in, at least we've got a handle on what's going on now. I don't think there's anything to propose for a vote on the NPS system meter issue as yet. New business is the fiscal year 22 budget preparation discussion, and that begins with Deb.
Okay, so when this agenda was in process, there were a few more loose ends than we have now. But essentially, we have to get our budget for fiscal 22 in the hands of the USDA by June 1. And so I'm working to have that prepared for you by May 19 in your regular meeting, and then we will need to pull the quorum together and on the town council for the following week and have a special meeting for them to take a look at that and approve it so we can get it up to the USDA by June 1. So there were a few pieces that Chris and I have discussed today that we've come forward with a plan on, and we'll further refine those details when we get to the 19th. And the last element that I just want to emphasize is the meter read program. You know, it's just turned into, I feel like now instead of buying cans of soup, we are buying a supermarket. And so it's really it's a whole system that we're looking at. Sounds like there've been some proposals to help us finance that over time. And if not all vendors have offered it, if some have offered it, we have the opportunity to give that option to other vendors, and that may play a role in our decision making. So I'm just kind of, in terms of that, unless anybody comes up with anything else in the meantime, I'm going to just put in some financing, a plan for financing, which when we then get to the point of decision making with the meter reading program, we can certainly make adjustments. And I'm sure we will be looking at budget revisions throughout the year. So as much information as we can gather for that prior to the 19th will be beneficial. And Chris and I are going to be meeting on Monday to go through more details.
So you're saying meter reading, you mean radio read?
Yeah, radio read.
Okay.
Yeah,
Talk
but-
about radio.
yeah. So, could I ask her one question, Deb?
Sure.
You talked about the USDA budget by June the 1st, but is that the same as our upcoming FY22 budget?
The USDA, because we're in this loan arrangement with the USDA, they're requiring that our FY22 budget be presented to them by June 1st.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you for working on that for us.
Thank
Sure
you.
thing.
While we're talking about USDA and meter read money, Barbara, does our loan with the USDA preclude us from eligibility for like the USDA WEP grant money and things like that for?
No, I mean, it's separate programs are separate. You're not disqualified from
Okay,
anything just because you may have gotten funding through
okay. Because,
USDA is like a financial institution, but any grants or anything like that are different programs.
okay, because as I've been doing some research on the radio read and how we approach that, whether we approach it piecemeal or as a whole system, there are some infrastructural grants available for rural water utilities out there that may facilitate that, and we may become eligible for or more attractive for because we're doing the radio, if we decide to do the radio read as a whole system.
Well, I know in the past there have been rural grants for rural, I forget what it's called, but the one you just referenced, the rural grants. And we didn't qualify because our median household income was one of the highest in the state.
That's true.
And that happened year after year after year. And we worked with Region 9 to try to find, hope there might have been a workaround. But even Bolivar, even using Bolivar as the,
Base.
yeah, we still were higher than,
Okay, well, I've been looking at that and I wanted to,
but that's not to say that the guidelines may be elastic.
right.
And that just because we didn't qualify one time or in the past doesn't mean that with the federal funding that's being carved out for infrastructure that we may qualify now.
I'm watching that like a hawk.
Yeah,
Because if we can offset some of the, the upfront costs for that, they may essentially reward us for taking on the whole thing at once
yeah.
by helping us funding wise. So, that drives some of the decision making as to how we approach some of these projects. And I'm not a grant guy. I can review them, but I'm not sure. I've never put together one. So, but I will, we'll revisit that later, but since we were
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah, so anything's possible.
well, I hope so, because we got a lot coming up.
Yeah.
All right, we have two more items. First, I understand there've been some interviews and we've gone through the advertisement of the OIT position. We've had the applications, and I don't know how many interviews were actually done at this point.
I don't think we're at a position right now, unless we're in executive session, to discuss outcomes, but we have had our interviews, and we will be making
We have to make a decision today, don't we?
make a decision, but we need to do that we need to discuss these in executive session.
Yes. All right.
Because we want to be able to present a,
Siri here. Oh, let me know if I can help. Sorry.
we want to be able to present our recommendation to the, or our decision to the town council.
Okay. So we need to go into executive session.
Yeah.
And I don't have the,
I have it, I'll get it, I'll read it to you.
Who's going in this? Let's see. All of y'all and, oh, Andy's off. Okay, so all of you are coming into executive session?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sending the invitation.
Can I move that we're going into executive session?
You could move. Barbara's gonna give
Right.
us the,
Yeah.
Find the number. I move that we go into executive session for Barbara.
6-9A-4 2. Hold on, A. And that's matters arising from the appointment, employment, retirement, promotion, transfer, blah, 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 of a public officer or employee or prospective employee.
second. All those in favor?
Right.
All those
Oh, what is
opposed?
happening?
All right. Hold on for
Yeah,
transfer.
it's gonna take me a minute here. I'm a little behind. Come on. Barb, are you Barbara.Humes or Barb dot?
Barbara.
Thank you. There you are. Whew. Okay.
And what I just read you, it's matters arising from the employment of a prospective employee.
I still haven't gotten a invite.
I'm working on it.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's being a little stubborn.
I'm patiently waiting.
We get that new thing emailed?
I'm working on it.
Okay, I just didn't remember. I don't do it enough.
I know, sorry. It's a little, everything just isn't auto loading on this iPad yet, so I'm having to enter it in letter by letter, and I made a mistake. All right, I think we got it now. There's 5 of you, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. All right. Oh, come on. That is all correct.
Gotcha.
Good. Okay, and you do not need me, right?
I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
Do we have to then go to this new Zoom meeting?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
And then you launch into it.
Well, no, it doesn't come up automatically like that on mine.
Oh,
I
I gotta leave the other one.
Do I close the other one?
No, if you just open the new one, you will leave this meeting automatically.
Okay, I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Here it is.
Oh, what happened? Let me do it again. What did I do? Launch meeting.
You good, Laurel? Laurel, you doing okay? I can't, you're muted if you need me.
Okay, what am I supposed to be doing?
Okay, so you should be receiving an email from me and it has a new invitation in it. And you click on that invitation and that will take you to executive session.
So where does the email come? To my regular,
Yes. LG Drake 77 at G. Oh gosh, I sent it to Hotmail. Okay, that's the problem. I'm so sorry.
oh, it is Hotmail.
Yep, no, I sent it to Gmail.
Oh,
I need to, give me a minute here. Invite. I'm really sorry. I missed that.
oh, don't worry about it.
At Hotmail. Okay. Oh, come on, go. Send, return, send. There it is. Okay, you should be getting it just momentarily.
Okay. Hi, Barbara. I'm just now going to get the email that from Deb. Hang on a second. Actually, you guys can begin. I mean, I'm still getting the email though. Not yet. But Deb just resent it to me.
Are you able, have you found it?
It's just that my computer is slow.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Okay, let's see here.
Okay, don't you, yeah. Did you find it, Laurel?
No, not yet. But it's just taking a long time to load. Okay. All right, it's not there. So you sent it to lgdrake77@hotmail.com?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it one more time. Or Okay, LG Drake 77 at Hotmail.
Okay, I see your email now.
Good, okay.
Oh, so now
Click
I'm
on
trying to,
that.
oh, I'm trying to open it. It's
Okay.
opening.
All right.
Okay, I'm clicking on it now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Um, what, Christie?
I move that we come back into regular session. Do I have to say anything more than that, Barbara?
No.
You're muted.
You're okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Just make the motion for,
Well, I move that we come back into regular session. I don't know if we have to vote on that or not.
we don't have to do that.
Okay, good.
We do have to have, do I hear a motion on what we talked about in executive session?
I move that we send the recommendation from the interview team on to the town council for the hiring of the OIT candidate.
Second. All those in favor?
I,
All those opposed? Okay, well, we have ratified that agenda request. All right, next item on the agenda. Okay, we've touched on this briefly before. Christie, you sent me an email and said this sounds a lot like a position we talked about before. And it was really a position that was mentioned, but we didn't talk about at any great length. What I have, and I circulated kind of late this afternoon before the meeting, a sample job description that I did some editing to, but is not meant as, you know, the final form by any means, but more as a thought exercise for us to come up with what we really want out of the position. But we have not only are we renovating, going through a significant renovation both of the plant and undertaking to renovate our distribution network ourselves with a very small crew of people, but we also have increased the load on our billing side with both increasing rates and creating a lot more focus on and scrutiny on our water utility in general. And as such, I think, and we've had a lot of discussion about, developing standard operating procedures, some of which has already started and at both the plant and with Angie, and that's great initiative. But we really don't have a single point of accountability for shepherding those through and making sure that both Angie and Chris have the resources they need and are backstopped sufficiently in their positions. And especially, yes, Christie, you're muted.
I don't see Chris Steyer. Can we have Chris Steyer in on this?
Could you say, I just winked on and I can't seem to get it. Jeff, could you do me a favor? Could you send, for some reason, I can't seem to get.
Click on the link in the original special meeting invite, not the second one.
I told him that.
I did.
Okay, let me resend it.
She's resending it. She's resending it. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, bye.
So hopefully he'll get here quickly. I mean, and a lot of this is stuff I've talked to Chris about, to be honest. you know, we don't have any single point of accountability. We don't have anybody that really can assist them in the kinds of process concerns that we really are currently lacking. And I think we're seeing a lot of that over the last 3 months or so, with all that's going on. And we're having to do a lot of ad hoc decision-making, you know, both Chris and Angie, in making adjustments and handling billing things, that having a single point of contact and a single point of accountability, a place where the buck stops, if you will, would greatly facilitate both of them, and would facilitate us, and would reduce the kind of day-to-day management stuff that we're delving into that a deliberative body really isn't designed for. So I propose that we recommend to the town council the creation of an administrator position, and with the understanding that this, in order to accommodate this position, the town council may want to expand the scope of, this is going to be an ongoing dialogue with the town council from a budgetary standpoint and a responsibility standpoint. I wouldn't propose to recommend a town manager to the town council. We'd like a water system administrator, but with an openness in the dialogue as we create this position, that there could be some overlap with town council administrative things, which would make it easier for us to come up with funding for the position, but it would also probably fill that position's time. So I'm not proposing that we are going to be implementing this next week, but I think that the first step here is to recommend the position to the town council, and then we get started on doing the due diligence and developing the job description and the duties that we really think that person should have, collaboratively, and then working with the town council and Chuck and everyone else to develop a meaningful way to fund this position in light of all of the other things that are going on right now with the water system in the town generally. Christy.
Yeah, I'm on the tree committee too, and I've been doing a lot of work on the tree committee. And when one thing that has happened, when Dave Cummings was the maintenance person for the town, he knew a lot about trees, and he provided a lot of the information, including a lot of the work for me. I have none of that now, and I'm interested in having someone that the town has, a town staff person that's doing that. So if you're talking about a town manager, or a public works director, that public works director or the town manager overlap, that covering all this stuff, because we're a tiny town. It's not like we're a big town. And I would love to see that position be able to handle some of that stuff, because right now, if I'm continuing to have to do this stuff, I ain't doing it anymore. I'll get off the tree committee, because right now I'm doing all the work. Well, Robert's helping me because I conned him into getting on the tree committee too, but it's beyond. I'm not kidding. And it's been years since we had people that young and coming in and willing to work. Okay, other than Kevin Kosa.
I think I hear what you're saying. I think what based on, you know, preliminary budgetary discussions and looking at this from all the different angles, you know, if we did have a town manager, you know, that didn't come through our recommendation, a good chunk of that town manager's responsibility would still be looking at, you know, the water utility, because that's a big chunk of what we represent a big chunk of what the town does. You know, this is it's an important critical operation, and it's complex.
It is complex, but I've been asking to have a handicap ramp put in now for about 4 or 5 years. when I almost watched someone tip their baby buggy on it. And that's not the only one. I saw a guy with cerebral palsy getting out of his wheelchair, getting down the curb, getting back in his wheelchair. You see stuff like that, and it's just, I'm just can't believe it. And then I have this situation here at Cambridge and West Ridge where we have an ice skating rink in the wintertime because the aquifer is so high, and the town allowed a house to be built that totally screwed up the drainage. Luckily, we have a new people in that house now, and they're interested in helping to correct the drainage. We have a situation where nobody is overseeing what's happening on Cambridge Street Extension. There's nobody. If you had a public works director, that guy would have been out there and would have made that person clean up the street. They've tracked all this mud into the street. It's horrible. And it's been like that for a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks now since they started doing it. And I got to tell you, that to me is a much bigger sign that something's not working here.
Well, I do think that we're lacking, there's a bigger scope to this than just our needs. And I think our approach certainly has to start with the needs of the water utility. But with the understanding that we are a small municipality, and in order to, I wouldn't walk into the town council and straight up recommend you need a town manager. But I think that the being open to that being a component of our ask here as we develop this position, and as we have a dialogue with the town council and amongst ourselves, how we're going to utilize this person, and how we're going to pay for this position. I think that what you're talking about, Christy, is an important part of that dialogue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I'd also like to add that I would love to have Steyer and the Water Commission come up with a list of what they would like to see, what activities that are now just too overwhelming or whatever, that they would like to see handled by another person. And that, so we can reach, what does that person have to be?
Well, and I think that the overarching goal has to be here from a Water Commission standpoint, because that's our priority, is what can we do? What can this person provide that will make Chris's job easier, and narrow the scope of the things that are really outside of managing the plant, doing the things he's really good at, while still providing an opportunity to mentor him and to increase his skill set over time. Help our guys grow.
I think, to interject and add to what you're saying, Bill, increase the scope. That means not of plant activities, which Chris already knows the plant activities. He's
Correct.
In charge of the plant. Of those other things, especially administrative duties, of which there are many, and things like bidding and things that it's great to have another person to help with.
Yes, I just want to add real quick. I agree with all this. I would like for you guys to see exactly this blur of stuff and activities that I handle on a daily basis. It's and I just want to get this in real quick. Without Spanos in my life right now, is the amount of workload that we have right now is unreal. I have 2 people now doing administrative stuff. And plus the other work that he has to do physically, has been a tremendous help. But it's just for you guys to come in and see exactly what we handle on a daily basis. You'd be pretty impressed.
Well, when you told me you were having to come in at 4:00 in the morning, I realized that I appreciate the initiative and the drive, but I don't ever want to do that, to our people.
You're gonna die
because
young.
It's not sustainable.
I
agree.
don't, and
I'm down to 163 pounds. I've lost 10 pounds over this whole thing, man.
Yeah, and that's we don't want you to waste away. We want you to enjoy doing this because you're
I love it.
Right. And I don't want it to cease to be that for you.
There's three.
Barbara, did you have your hand up?
No,
No,
I took my nap.
Okay. So, I think the way to approach this is to make our recommendation, our desire known to the town council, and put together a presentation that gives them comfort that we know what we're talking about and that we're open to, adjustment from them to the scope of this person's duties and where we can apply them, so that we can maximize, the value that the town gets out of creating this position. And then we set about to developing our, job description and fine tuning all this. Yes, Barbara.
yeah, now I have my hand up. You mentioned in passing that it could be linked to sharing of duties with the town, with
Yes.
the town's governance as well.
Yes.
And I guess we would have to be very careful as to how much and how we would track the time of
Yes.
this person. And because we would be sharing, I think it's a good idea to share with the town. That would ensure that there would be a steady, full-time workload here. So that would have to be addressed. One of the, and you're submitting this for our consideration for adding to or suggesting some additions or revisions to what you, this is a work in progress that you put in front of us.
Yes, the very large word salad of a job description. I mean, I liken it to when I'm working on, like framing or wood projects. I always cut things a little bit longer than I need them because I can always cut off more. So I have actually edited that somewhat to make it make sense, because there are parts of it that just would not be applicable. But it gives us I think it sets forth sort of the flavor of the kinds of things that we want this person to do. And it's a starting point for our discussion. And maybe we set up a separate committee. Maybe we do this as a group to fine tune this document to where it reflects what we both really need and what we can afford.
Yeah,
And it's not meant to be, here's what I think it ought to be. It's more of here's a starting point. We can winnow it down. We can add things to it. But I think we need to start this ball rolling and let the town council see what our intent is here. And
I agree with that. I agree entirely with it. But right now I have enough work to have three guys busy at all given times. So I'm ready. I'm ready.
Well,
I have Dave Gusky. I've given him the towel. I called Chris Eckenrow, and Dave Gusky is starting Monday morning, by the way. There's just too much activity in here now. Now we're starting to have the ball rolling. So the main guy's coming in to help and to assist and actually do whatever he needs to do. But
Can I ask a question? So are you saying that before you told Chris Eckenroad this, that guy was not doing any work?
Oh, no. So what's happened here is we have this guy for 9 months.
the clock
So
starts ticking.
Yeah, so the clock starts ticking the moment I asked for him to come here. And they were just waiting on me to make the decision on when that would be. And that decision is Monday morning. So
And I thought it was Chris's decision, Chris Eckenroad.
it was, but Chris was waiting on my final decision. He was waiting on to see how much I could handle before we needed to have somebody in here, because they were just getting ready for the preliminary work.
I didn't understand that at all. I didn't know that the project was that you were doing everything and this other guy wasn't hired yet or hadn't started yet.
Well, just at the beginning, because we were trying to save on money, because we only have them for 9 months. We don't
I
have.
think- I mean, can I just, not to blame anybody, but I want to ask the Water Commission to please inform us of things like this. That sounds like a very important decision that was made, but all of us should have been aware of that. That this other guy wasn't even on duty yet. I thought he was already on duty.
No, the contract.
I did not realize you did not know that. Yeah, the decision was just made. So.
Well, I know you said the decision was made to start him, but I didn't know that the decision had been made to not start him.
Well, because Chris, here's what happened. Chris moved the start date up. Here, you know what? I will let Christie explain it. She has her
Christie
hand
got
up.
her hand up, yeah.
Let me say something, because I have been involved in this. We know we only have this guy for 9 months, is it?
I think that's the word, yeah.
And we know the
It's in the
project.
contract.
We know the project is going to take longer. So, and Chris Eckenrode said he recommended wait until you actually need them. They were just setting up. Well, they were just setting up. Well, last week they were just starting to set up, and did not really need Gusky at that moment. But boy, these guys are moving fast. I mean, they are really moving fast. So it's good we need them now.
Yeah, this guy's no joke. This Albert, Eli comes with a hell of a resume, by the way. It's incredible. Millions of dollars. I have his whole resume. He is highly qualified.
You mean Gutsky
No, Eli.
from Alvarez?
So Eli is Alvarez's superintendent. He's the head of Alvarez, and Dave Gusky will be. He's the guy that looks out for us. He's the one that's going to be making sure that they do their job diligently. He will inspect the work and make sure everything's okay. What it comes down to.
Yeah.
And make my job a lot easier. But he's the one that will be sitting down and deciding on things such as a mobile filtration system that we're working on. Just ideas that he'll be the one that makes these things happen.
Okay, I don't want to.
Yeah, we
I don't
better
wanna-
get back to
this is a discussion, and
the
if
discussion.
We need to have it, but we have a hard limit at 5:15 today. So
Okay.
if
May I
further
make
discussion, or do we want to make a motion?
may I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Since you are looking for some revisions and more input onto the document you submitted to us tonight, and we're all feeling very positive about the idea, there's going to be a new administration in 2 months. So the timing of this may be, you may need to consider the timing of this.
It's going to be a sell for Mayor Vaughn. And he's going to come and ask me questions. I know that.
Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and make our recommendation to the town council. And they may punt this to the next administration. But the current administration has, I don't want to lose their experience on all of this and their input. They've participated in a lot of our discussions about these kinds of things. And we're going to have to re-educate a new batch.
Right.
And so I'd like to get a chance to get this in front of the current council.
Okay.
I will agree with that because, no matter what happens, there's only one person, which is Christian Pachonicus. He's the only person who's coming back. So everybody else on there will be new,
Right.
assuming that Christian gets elected.
Kevin's not going to be new. Kevin, the recorder is the same.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
But the other 5 will be, just Christian is the only one who's running again.
Right.
So it is true that it takes a while to get educated. And the thing is, I think everything that's been mentioned so far by everybody is good. And I want to add that we need very badly a supervisor in this role over the water clerk. And we just got not that's just that position. And like for years and years, we've needed a supervisor over the water clerk. And so this is not a comment about our current water clerk. We need to get SOPs getting started, getting implemented, documented in binders online. There's so much work to be done. And I don't think that even when we vote this position in, we still have to go to the very long process of, like you said, writing the job description and then opening opening it up to see who's going to apply for it. This whole process will take so long. And I think it's important to get started with it.
And I wanted to get this ball rolling so that if we could get the town council on board, that makes it a lot easier for us to invest the kind of time we need to get this right. Rather than spending a couple of months putting this together and then having the town council say, no.
So this current town council, of which I'm on, would be a supporter. If we can get full support, then that would go a long way to handing it over to the next administration.
You have my support. You definitely have my support. When it
Now,
comes
I'd like to add one more thing that you could add to this. I know we're running out of time.
Yep.
I didn't see anything mentioned about grants management and in here.
Oh,
So-
that will be that's on my Christmas list. So
I thought I saw that.
it may be in there. But that's definitely on my list. So yes, Barbara, that kind of project, grants management and kind of keeping an ear to the ground for what's available to keep us flush with funding is absolutely part of that role.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion? Or should I can make the motion.
I move that we move forward on sending a recommendation to the town council regarding having a person that can
Administrative.
administer the much of the waterworks business that's currently too much for the existing staff to handle. I don't know how to exactly word it. Did you have a wording in mind?
I just said I would move that we recommend to the town council the creation of an administrator position that would provide services both to the primarily the water commission, or to the water commission and to the town as needed, and to, I think, contingent upon financial feasibility and our ongoing discussion with the town.
I second that motion.
No,
Okay.
I don't have the motion straight yet. Can
Oh,
you,
good luck, Bill.
can you please,
I can't, me, I can say it once and then it's gone.
well, I don't have it straight. I
But
can't,
there is a recording of it. There is a recording of it.
yeah, but we have to vote on it and I have to know what it is.
Well,
Gotta do this quick.
You moved to forward.
To recommend to the town council the creation of an administrator position to provide services both to primarily to the water commission and the town as needed. I don't want to be too specific there about the breakdown because that's a discussion with the town council, but contingent upon fiscal feasibility.
Okay, I want to say, I want to discuss. Okay, so I don't know what the next part is.
Okay,
But I want to discuss that motion because I would like to amend it. But
Okay.
tell me if this is the right time to do it.
Well, we can second and vote, and then,
Yeah, I second it already.
okay.
so now I think you can amend, you can move to amend, and then we can vote on the amendment,
Okay,
Okay.
vote on the,
So I would like to amend what you said because I feel like we should not tie the hands of that motion with the work with the town. I mean, our needs are for the water utility. And it could be that there's not enough money in the budget for the water, for this administrator. And this administrator will have to get, in addition, paid out of the town budget for work that they do with it for the town. But we don't know that yet. So I would like to amend your motion to just say to hire an administrator with the very last thing you said, which was subject to the budget constraints. Because subject to the budget constraints would mean that would be amended. I mean, the duties of the administrator might change subject to the budget amendment. But I don't
Okay.
want to tie it down and say it's got to be, this person is going to be working for both of them right off the bat. Okay, that's my amendment. And I wanted to just say that in discussion.
okay. I've gone back to the does anybody else object to Barbara's got her hand up.
oh, I meant to take that down.
Okay. Does anybody else have any input there about, I think we can express our openness to some shared cross-pollination with the town without putting it in the motion.
Okay,
I think it will come up regardless. If we don't put it in, it will come up and regardless.
Of course
Okay.
it will. Of course it will.
Yeah.
Well, so let's not put it in. I mean, that, in other words, let's not put it in, and it's just part of what might happen eventually with the budget constraints.
Okay.
But because if we start this off that it's a shared position, then there could be some pushing and pulling, and our main concern is with the water utility and all the work that has to be done, especially at the beginning when they're learning the job.
So I accept her motion, her amendment.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I think you have to, don't you? Because it was your
I
motion.
need the motion, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and add it to the motion. You know, Robert's rules is pretty complex, so let's just say that we didn't vote on the First Amendment. We had a discussion and we're amending
Can I withdraw my original motion, just make a new motion?
Yeah, just do that.
Okay,
That would make it easier for the minutes.
okay. I move that we recommend that the town council approve the creation of and the initiation of the hiring process of an administrator position with respect to the water utility, contingent upon fiscal feasibility.
Okay, I second it.
You're about out of here, aren't you?
Well, is that, it sounds like you're saying that you really want to have them hire it right now.
No, to initiate the hiring process, meaning we can start, developing our job description and all that stuff.
Well, okay, Bill, why don't we say just approve the position?
The creation of the position?
No,
Okay.
yeah, why don't we just approve the position? If they approve the position, then that helps us start on, okay, we've got to get the job description. We've got, it leaves us free to begin to find that solution that we're looking for.
Okay, I move that we recommend that the town council approve the creation of an administrator position with respect to the water utility, contingent upon fiscal feasibility.
That's all you need.
Second it.
Okay. all those in
Okay,
favor?
thank you. Thank you to everybody. Everybody really contributed on that. That was great.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
All right.
Oh, thank
Discussion?
God.
Do we have discussion?
No, we got to get out of here. For
Barbara, oh,
Love you guys.
Deb, kick us out.
All right.
okay.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Good night, guys.